Now would be the time to go live. Welcome to what is shaping up to be a very interesting episode of Realities May Vary. I'm Brian Noonan. That's Father of the Year, Cody Gough. Um, that is your lovely daughter who it sounded like you had just pinched her. Then I heard a sound that sounded like a slap. That can't be right. And she
She
was sobbing.
she was, God forbid, I did the worst thing you could do as a father. I
Put her
feel
to
horrible
bed.
about this. I put her down
Don't
for
do that. You can't put them down.
for 1 second. I put her on the
No,
floor. I
no.
wasn't holding her. It was the worst thing I've ever done as a person, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a bad man.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
And now I've got the baby backpack, which I told you to go live because this is hard as hell to put on solo. So
Tell the truth. Your wife has left you, hasn't she?
she has.
Okay. And
For
you're
the
raising those two kids by yourself.
I gotta tell you, we joked about how hard it is to start this on time. I was ready. Like I got,
Okay.
like usually my son starts his bath time around 8 o'clock. I had him had him bathed in bed, had his little nighttime snack, all ready to go at like 8:04. I'm like,
Wow.
great. I'll read a bedtime story. He picked out the longest bedtime story he has, The Seven Silly Eaters. Um, Pretty great. Read The Seven Silly Eaters.
Yeah,
And
it sounds good.
we always do two stories. And I was like, no, bud, sorry, only one story tonight because I got Brian's show because it's 8:23. And I'm
Oh.
like, all right, I got time. She was fast asleep on top of me. So I go and put her down in the little crib. Cool. She stays asleep. I'm like, great. Got 5 minutes to go. I go grab the baby monitor. Second I get to the baby monitor, she starts crying. I got to run and get her before she wakes up the sibling. Then realized my blood sugar's high because while taking care of two kids, I didn't have time to do insulin. So
Oh, jeez.
I'm now doing insulin on the show. Then couldn't find my water. I'm dehydrated because my blood sugar's high.
Good
So
Lord.
I'm not trying to be woe is me. I mean, I am.
No,
but,
I know, but yeah,
But
you got a lot going on.
hey, man, look, listener / viewer of the live Realities May Vary, brought to you by Brian Noonan and Cody Gough, who's me. Pretty lucky. We start less than 10 minutes late
Yeah.
at
Oh,
any point.
listen, I saw what you were going through. I was just willing to wait. I was here laughing and commenting. You didn't have your headphones on, so you didn't hear anything I was saying.
I bet
But
it's hilarious. And my son's in the next room, right? And my wife's not here. And he insists on sleeping with the door wide open. So he could come knocking on my door at any moment, which is why I'm being
yeah,
kind of quiet. But on my way to get my water downstairs on my insulin, I did get myself a little Rye Way to Heaven Deepwood series.
there you
So
go.
here we go. Yeah, that is dedication. Thank you, Marta. I
That
love
is.
I love our
Thank you,
our
Mike. I am going to let the good times roll starting tomorrow, brother. That is right.
oh man, I am pumped for you.
Well,
Tonight
wait.
on Reality is May Vary, we're gonna preview Brian's big adventure. I'm gonna talk about how I hate America. Yeah, it's one of
Again.
those again. Gonna talk about my bartending experience this week. And Brian, what else you
I
got?
visited Cody's home,
You visited my home.
visited your home, and met the young lady who's now hanging on your chest like a primate.
Fast asleep.
Is that right?
Fast asleep.
Yeah.
All of my shirts are going to be so stretched by the time these kids, like every time I look down, I'm like, oh, that's pulled down to like my midsection,
Yeah. Well,
basically.
you
But
got a human being hanging off you.
I do. I
Now,
do.
is that a baby Bjorn? What is that contraption that
It's
she's
like
in?
a little backpack. I don't know how to adjust my
No,
camera
that's all
with
right.
that,
Don't
but yeah,
don't.
it's just
Oh, okay.
it's got the
Marta
backpack here.
Marta deserves a drum roll. She's hanging on his every word. Rim shot.
Yeah, it's short to you, but I'm social media
No,
shy with my kids.
I don't blame you. I'm surprised. Well, we're only seeing the back of her head, and to be honest, at her age, all infant heads kind of look the same except for hair color. You know.
Yeah, even then it'll change. But
Yeah, it'll change. The soft spot will close up. You won't be able to use it as a pause button anymore. That's what you ought to do. Kids start screaming, just tiny pressure on that soft spot. Calms them right down. I'm no doctor, but Molly can still speak English, so that's good.
ooh, there you go.
Yeah. That's how
Well,
I
hi.
judge that's how I judge if I'm a good father. She's not on the pole and she can still speak. So
Mm.
I'm glad you're drinking a beer. I'm just drinking water.
Brian, you are going to be drinking so much so soon.
Probably.
You're gonna need start hydrating now.
I do need to hydrate. I got to stay hydrated. So let's start with well, first I want to say this. I got to see your children yesterday. I got to meet your daughter for the first time, and she is adorable. She's an infant, but you can tell, and she was very aware. She's very aware of her surroundings. Like she follows you when you're talking to her. I was holding her. She was looking right at me and following me, and looking when her brother came in. She was looking over at him. She's just adorable. So I can't believe you did it twice. That you have two really cool kids, because your son came back. He was out, I don't know, gallivanting. He has a busy social life, and he came home, and immediately he walked through the door. He saw me, and he started regaling me with stories about cars and trucks. And it was one, 100% on brand. Two, it was cute as hell. And three, I was like, oh, look at this now, because last time I was at your house. Now, when he comes here, he's usually only shy for a couple minutes. Last time I was at your house, he was really shy. This time he saw me and he was like, oh, good. Somebody else to tell about my trucks besides my dad. So he was telling me about Mater and Lightning McQueen and how they hooked the cars up. And it was a whole big thing. So he's always a trip. I love hanging out with him. And your daughter is just gorgeous. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. She's not a fan of when I put her down, but that's okay.
Well, you never have to put her down. Why would you want to cause that kind of consternation in an infant? Carry her around nonstop.
That's fair.
Yeah. Sleep with her on your belly, do all your business with her on. Go to interviews with her, like in Michael Keaton in what was the Michael Keaton? Oh,
then Gary Gen Ross?
No, Dad
Bod.
No,
Father of the Bride.
No, never mind.
Father of the Groom.
Where he got laid off. Was it Gung Ho? Where Mr. Mom. That was it. Mr. Mom. Duh.
There you go.
Man, I'm dumb. Yeah. So there's
Thanks, Mike.
Yes, thank you, Mike. So that is that's what I wanted. I just wanted to get that out of the way in case people think, boy, you met Cody's kids, you didn't say anything. No,
thank you. And you brought very generous gifts.
Oh no, I wasn't saying that to.
Well, I know, but if you're going to compliment me, I got to compliment you. You brought very cute little outfits for my daughter and a couple books that you knew were very on brand for my son who likes trucks.
I'm not going to give that kid a guitar. I'm not making the Christmas mistake. I want to stay welcome in your house. If I brought him over something off brand, I did appreciate your text, because your son was he got the books and he looked, and then he got on the sofa and he just sat quietly and he'd flip through one book, then he'd put it down, he'd flip through the other, then he'd go back and forth. And I was like, oh, he digs the books. That's cool. But you texted me that I left and he immediately asked you to read him one of the books. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, okay, good. Everybody likes getting presents that people like. You don't want to give a present that, is going to cause a kid to have a meltdown on Christmas morning for 2 hours. Who wants to do that? That would be stupid.
No one would do that. No one I know would do that.
No, that would be dumb.
No one I know that hasn't left me already would do that.
Yeah, I'm curious, because your wife wasn't there yesterday. Your wife's not there now. Your wife, you can be honest with us. We've known each other a long time. People have been following you. If you're single now, put it out there.
No, she teaches a lot of yoga classes, it turns out. And no, I have a woman. I don't have a job. So, feel free to hook me up there if you're checking this out.
What if it's a job that involves being with women? What if somebody wants to put you in content?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know what that word means anymore, but sure. No,
it's anything is content, right?
I'm actually, I don't want to be bad news bearer every week, so I should update the viewer/listener that I am in the midst of a few different job interview processes.
There we
go. Fingers crossed one comes to fruition. I have a good feeling, but that doesn't mean anything. And you'll be proud of me. I don't know why you'd be proud of me, but somebody will be proud of me.
Because I always am. Because you're a good father who carries his child like a bag of potatoes on his back.
Saturday, my wife actually took the kids to visit a friend. I had some time at home alone. I got a little bit of work done, caught up on some stuff. And in the midst of that, I still spent time and energy and effort submitting a couple of job applications, because you don't stop just when you see the finish line. You gotta
you don't.
keep rolling. So got a
Well,
couple other ones out there. So we'll see.
good thoughts coming your way. Oh, Gina says we're always proud of you, Cody.
Thank
Let's
you,
not get
Gina.
ahead of ourselves, Gina.
Yeah. Once you're done with this.
A lot of times we're proud of them.
Mhm.
Always is. I don't think you could always be proud of anybody. Always means there's never a moment. I can't give you that. I'm proud of you a lot, but that's about it. Boy, that's 2 weeks, 2 episodes in a row. I've said something nice. I got to cut this out. You know what it is? I'm getting old. I'm getting that thing where you get old and suddenly you get all emotional and sentimental.
Mm.
Like I not cried. I got moved during a couple of the Super Bowl commercials last night. Just a couple.
You want to talk about the big game?
No, only that the dog two of the dog one for farmers food and farmer's dog or something. It's fresh, like gourmet dog food. And the other one was for Amazon. And both of them involved dogs because I don't get emotional about people, but dogs, they got me. Rat bastards.
The farm one was good. The Amazon one didn't click with me, and it was like 4 minutes long. Like, what do you?
I thought it was hilarious because the dog was just the dog tearing everything up because it got mad that all of a sudden all his people had to go back to work. When they'd been together all through the pandemic.
Oh.
And then the dog was just the separation anxiety kicked in and the dog just destroyed everything.
To be fair, I only caught the second half of the commercial, so maybe that's what.
Yeah, that's please talk out your rear end then.
But I did watch the Mega Man 2 Half Bowl performance sponsored by Super Smash Brothers.
I only understood the word man in that sentence. And watch. You watched a man do something. He smashed something. Is that correct?
The halftime show looked like a video game.
I saw your post. Did it look? Was that? I obviously didn't understand it because I don't play video games. But
you have platforms suspended in the air.
Yes.
There's literally a genre of video game called a platformer, where you jump on platforms. Super Mario Brothers is a platformer. You jump from thing to thing. There's little hovering platforms in the air, and the way they shot it was when they would do a wide shot, it was straight on. So the platforms looked entirely flat, and it looked exactly like many video games. I'm not the only person that came up with that joke. If you look on Twitter, hundreds of people were like, looks like Mega Man or looks like Smash Brothers. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty entertaining. But we've apparently you could stream the whole thing on like Fox.com free, which we did. And
really?
I mostly just watched. I had it on. I wasn't really paying attention to it a whole lot, but I don't know. I didn't care at all about any of it.
No, I watched the whole game because mostly for the commercials, because I knew I was going to be talking about the commercials on the radio show tonight.
Mm.
And so I watched the game. It was this is all I'll say about it. It was a really exciting game. It was fun to watch, even though I was not connected to any team. But then I found out I had to be connected to the Eagles because Debbie reminded me that she had been born in Philadelphia. I only think she lived there maybe a minute and a half. But since she was technically born in Philadelphia, she might have lived there her first year. She had decided she would root for the Eagles since she had a connection to Philadelphia. As tenuous a connection as it was, she was an Eagles fan. So I was like, okay. But honestly, I was excited. Whatever team made a big play because I didn't have any skin in the game. I was like, oh, this is cool. Plus, I found out I won $50 because I had bought squares, at school.
Mm-hmm.
I'd bought squares. I actually won 30 because I bet 20, but I won the first quarter. So I'm getting $50.
Nice.
Yeah. Right. So there you go. That's my big take on the big game. But I know rarely do you reach out to me during the day and say, hey, I really want to talk about this. And so when you do, I know you're revved up for another one of your rants, which we love. We love the rant.
I gotta look at my Twitter feed. I'm not gonna make it too intense because, to be honest, because of the aforementioned child rearing that I've been doing for the last several hours, I didn't have a chance to actually prep thoroughly this story. Okay. But I want to at least flag for anyone who doesn't know this that there is a giant cloud of horrifically dangerous, toxic awful chemicals hovering over the Ohio-Pennsylvania border because of a massive train wreck, a train
Yeah.
derailment that spilled many chemicals that I can't even pronounce, including polyvinyl chloride, and I believe some stuff that was or is adjacent to chemicals in mustard gas.
And
And
this
it's
happened 10 days ago, this train derailment.
it
Just
happened
for reference, it happened 10 days ago.
10 days ago, and I'm not seeing a lot of coverage on it, and it is very bad. And I have a friend who works in chemical plant processing. Yeah, Marta, I am late to the game on this, but like, why didn't I hear about it right away?
It was no, I will say that, and I know you don't watch the news. It
Okay.
was when it happened. Now, it wasn't covered extensively, but it was on national news. It was on the local news. The story was covered when it happened. I haven't heard much about it lately, but I am seeing articles about it in like the New York Times and all this as recently as today. So people are still paying attention. It's just, I would imagine if you were anywhere near Ohio or Pennsylvania, it's nonstop in the news.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get away from it, the big news organizations, I think, are still covering it. But
Are people talking more about it or the balloons?
the balloons, which is,
Man.
I get it. I see where you're going. I understand what you're discussed, but the balloons have the framing is the balloons have national security importance and impact.
Oh, right.
This, while it is horrible, and it's a very small town of about, I can't remember, like 4,700 people live in this town,
Mhm.
according to the New York Times, 50 miles northwest of Pittsburgh. It so yeah, it's vinyl chloride, which is a toxic flammable gas. That's of the most concern to investigators. But yeah, this is a horrible story, and it's evacuated that town, and we don't know when or if those people will be able to go back. But since it's unfortunately happening in flyover country in a tiny little town, it's important. It should be important to everybody. It's important to the people who live in that area, obviously, but they can, it's a better story, potential spy balloons floating over Wisconsin and shooting down a Chinese surveillance thing. And were these cylinders, did they have the potential to spy on us and take our secrets, even though everybody on TikTok is giving and everybody who eats Tic Tacs, those are radio transmitters. So unless you chew them, if you just suck on the Tic Tac, you are giving all your biometric information to China. Yep. Fact. Science fact.
Well, yeah, you knew where I was going with it. Well, I think that
No. I'm not stopping you. I want you to keep going. I'm guessing that's why. I'm guessing that's why it's not a bigger story.
Yeah. But like Chernobyl didn't just make Chernobyl bad, right? Like
Right. Stuff in the air floats.
Stuff in the air floats. Stuff in the water floats. The water supply, particularly the pictures and videos of rivers full of dead fish.
Mm-hmm.
A little alarming. The ecosystem around there, right? Like the balance of just everything. So it's concerning to me and upsetting to me that Mayor Pete hasn't said anything.
The Secretary of Transportation.
Yeah, Secretary of Transportation. I have never liked him, for the record. I've said that on this show, and I like him even less now. Like, address it maybe. There are some politicians that are now calling for something to be said or done. Like, I retweeted one today. Don't remember which one. But so, fine, people are starting to talk about it now, but it feels bad that it's being overshadowed by anything. I like, my friend claims, and this could be hyperbole, but he does work in chemical processing. He says this is the worst environmental disaster in the last 100 years. Now, I don't know. BP oil spill could be worse, probably, right? I would think.
Yeah.
But but
Chernobyl.
maybe depending
Well, that's
on,
nuclear meltdown.
but I don't know. Like, I don't know much about these chemicals,
Oh, the
right? And
Gulf.
it's,
Yeah, all the.
but I don't know how long it will spread, how far it will spread. One random person on Twitter, this is not science, I don't know if it's true, but was suggesting like it could make it to the Great Lakes, right? And then like it could contaminate part of the Great Lakes, right? So if this stuff is true, like that's bad. But the problem is that I'm not, like, no one's talking about the full extent of it, right?
Right.
And the people on the ground, there was some I don't know, chemical expert at a local news station that they interviewed, and he's like, I cannot believe they didn't evacuate. I cannot believe people have said that some people could go back. Like,
Well, let me read you a couple things from the New York Times, and this article came out 2 hours ago. It's a timeline of everything that happened. So on February 12th, which was yesterday, the EPA monitored the air, said it had not detected contaminants at quote unquote levels of concern in and around East Palestine. Although residents,
Palestine.
Palestine, sorry, although residents may still smell odors, they were working with the railroad and Columbiana County Emergency Management Agency. The EPA had screened the air inside of about 290 homes as of today, said it had not detected vinyl chloride or hydrogen chloride, which can cause life-threatening respiratory issues. They still need to do 181 homes. Let's see. According to, all right, about the water. Precautionary measures were taken in the wider region. The West Virginia subsidiary of American Water, which provides water services in 24 states, said yesterday it had not detected any changes in the water at its Ohio River intake site, but it installed a secondary intake on the Guyandot River in case an alternate source was needed. The subsidiary, which serves more than 500,000 people, said it also enhanced its treatment processes. And just after the derailment, 1,500 to 2,000 residents were told to evacuate the area. Schools were closed for the week, along with some of the roads. So they're not sure. The residents face a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. And Mike, thank you in the chat. Mayor Pete did tweet an hour and a half ago.
Okay.
So while I was initiating bath time with my son, so this is pretty breaking. I don't feel too bad about missing that.
No, you were bathing a young boy.
I was. He's
which
saying,
sounds creepy unless I say you were giving your kid a bath.
Sure. He says, Secretary Pete says, I continue to be concerned about the impacts of the February 3rd train derailment near East Palestine, Ohio, and the effects on families in the 10 days since their lives were upended through no fault of their own. It's important families have access to useful and accurate information. And he says hazardous safety teams are doing stuff, blah, blah, blah. We'll look into investigation results. Meanwhile, the EPA is doing stuff. They've screened 291 homes. Okay, cool. Great. However, someone in the comments rightly saying, you continue to be concerned? Since when precisely? Because it has been 10 days before
maybe he was concerned. He just didn't want to say anything. He was busy. There was a State of the Union. You know, he had to go on George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah.
So he may have been concerned. It just not like top of mind concerned, but somebody went Ohio and went, oh, yeah, that's bad.
We had to watch the Super Bowl first, know.
Sure.
He might have been a big Kansas City fan or something. He probably got seats next to Kanye or something.
He was up at the box with, I don't think Ye was there. He would have joined Rihanna in a duet, wouldn't he? Didn't they have a big hit?
I was struck by Rihanna's singular star focus, like last year, didn't they bring on a couple guest stars?
Well, last year was a big tribute to hip hop, so there were a ton of hip hoppers.
But even before, aren't
they're most of them bring somebody out. There's a couple acts. It's a big hootenanny. But not Rihanna.
This was not only her being pretty solo, but every other dancer was totally generic in the weight outfit. So there was no even backup main person. It was the Rihanna show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She might as well have just been up there by herself. Honestly, it's pretty crazy.
She didn't need 100 people, 100 dancers in Arctic Explorer wear, giant parkas dancing around.
It looked like a bunch of Stay Puft Marshmallow Mans.
Yeah, it was very bad. I've also heard it. I've heard it compared to the Mike TV scene in the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So that was good. I also heard it that somebody compared it to because she was pregnant and the stage was pink. That was the birth canal, and that was spermatozoa. That was a stretch, but
wow. Legendary.
All right. So back to Ohio and Mayor Pete.
All right, that's it. And the point of the segment's not to blast him
No,
specifically.
but
It's
you're wondering, and it's why a story that big and that important isn't getting covered more. Would that be accurate?
yeah, and I think the answer is propaganda, uh, and that the U.S. is using the Chinese balloons as a smokescreen because, for God's sake, China can see what we're doing with satellites. They
Right.
don't need a balloon. It's stupid. It's a stupid story. It's
Well,
a stupid
I said
story.
today it's a distraction, but
Mhm.
not from I didn't think it was a distraction from the Ohio story. I thought it was a distraction for what was really going on, whatever China's really doing. They're like, oh, let's float over a couple balloons, get them all worked up, and in the meantime, we'll be taking every bit of personal information they have. They'll actually be giving it to us. We won't even have to take it, but we'll create these distractions, and they'll all be looking for balloons. Meanwhile, while they're looking up here, it's like sleight of hand. They're taking everything from down here because
Mm.
we're all looking at the sky, going, "Oh, the sky is falling." Penny wenny, henny menny. No,
Panty wanty.
panty wanty. The panties are falling.
Oh my.
Oh my, indeed.
The panties are falling. The panties are
My
falling.
panties are falling. Oh,
Yikes.
no, you're right. This is going to have or could have widespread effects. You know, if the New York Times is to be the failing New York Times,
The failing
do I
New
have-
York Times is
all
how
right,
it's
if the
pronounced.
failing New York Times is to be believed, then and the fraudulent FDA and the Chattanooga Choo Choo Railroad, that's everybody. If everybody's lying, then things are much worse than they are.
Mm.
It's like Kevin Bacon in Animal House. Remain calm, all is well. But there's a part of me that really believes that if this were spreading and going to, it's only 50 miles from Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
Pittsburgh's a pretty big city. They got Pimani Brothers sandwiches. There's a
They
lot
got-
going on there.
They got a football team.
They got a football team. They got a baseball team. They
They
got
have a baseball
Three
team?
Rivers. Yeah.
Who's the baseball team?
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Do they have Joan Rivers?
They have Joan Rivers. Her corpse is they embalmed her and put her up outside the stadium.
Why was the Super Bowl at a baseball stadium?
It was not.
They
It
played
was
the
where the
Cardinals.
Phoenix-
The Cardinals Stadium.
Yes, the Phoenix Cardinals are an NFL franchise. The St.
Yeah.
Louis Cardinals are a baseball team.
No, the St. Louis
Yes.
Cardinals are a baseball team.
You're right. And the Phoenix Cardinals are an airline. I believe that's correct.
Okay.
You can fact check me if you need to, but I'll be offended
Okay.
that you
All
didn't
right,
just
I'm-
take me at face value.
I'm glad we got that.
We did get that straightened out. That's why they were playing there. They're playing on
Okay.
the tarmac.
All right. The link that Mike just put in the comments, saying just wear this as a hazmat suit.
Oh, I don't know why I can't click it.
Just look for Sam Smith Dynamic Outfit Red Carpet Brit Awards. Sam Smith Brit Awards.
All right.
Just Sam Smith Brit Awards. That's really funny. It looks so, I can't even describe it. It doesn't matter. Just look it up or click on it if you're on the thing. But yeah, that's all. That's all. I don't have a huge rant. I don't have like a specific conspiracy theory in mind.
Darn, I was hoping you were going to get all worked up again.
No, I really do think the dumb China thing is a distraction from this. I think like why, like, come on, like stories are being made. I don't know. I don't trust a lot of major media. I don't know. Bunch of muckrakers just found out the U.S. like blew up some pipeline in Western Europe or Eastern Europe that supposedly they blamed on somebody else. Like there's just, man, what bothers me is not that our country does shady things. It's that some people think our country doesn't do shady things, right? They'll be like, well, China does this, or like, oh, look at Venezuela, or like, look at the corruption in this country. And it's like, just, oh, dude, open your eyes. Like, there's literally the same things happening here. Like, you'd have to be an idiot to, well, no, that's not true. Most people, I think a huge amount of people don't think that stuff happens here. But I think it's just like so silly to like look around and not be like, oh yeah, totally. The U.S. covers stuff up all the time. Oh, they lie all the time. Oh, they just like, mislead all the time. Oh, they like do this. It's, I don't know. This is not we're not better than anybody. We're not better than anybody. That's it. We have more money and we have more military. That's it. That's my rant. That's the only difference between the U.S. and other corrupt countries is we have a military and with a lot of money, and we have money, and that's all. That's
And
all.
we
That's
have
the
a
only
free
thing.
press. I got to throw
But
that in because
yeah,
we do. There are maybe not the huge corporate things because they've each got their own bias, but there is the opportunity in this country. There's smaller networks, smaller news sources that we do have the ability to criticize the government.
I
Like
am allowed
if
to
we were
say
in
what
other
I'm
countries,
saying.
you would be dragged out and shot.
There are other countries where I wouldn't be able to say what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I
that
think
that we got to give to us. We got to
that
got to give us that.
I'll give it to us, but that's not as valuable as it used to be because of
No.
the overpowering influence of these corporate entities, right?
Right.
Like many people only get their news from some of these networks, and they don't like the people reading these, independent journalism substacks that talk about how the U.S. like bombed this thing and no, it didn't tell anybody. I mean, they've got like a couple thousand readers, maybe, right? In a country of millions, so it's kind of like, okay, well, it's kind of like throwing little like crumbs to the to the peasants at the table, right?
Oh,
And it's
sure.
just like, oh, you've got your free press. Yes. Cody Gough can talk to his, less than 1,000 podcast listeners
but
about
that's
like, and it's like,
I know, but that is an important thing. It doesn't make up for everything else, but it's, and do they cover stuff up? Yes. Are we being lied to a lot? Yes. I think it's been that way since the beginning of time, or the beginning of this country. I think the mentality of there's some things it's better they don't know some things because there are some things I don't think we need to know. I think the intelligence community should keep stuff from the general public. I think there's stuff in the national security realm that is better off not out in the public. If it needs to come, if it needs to be investigated later and there's hearings and things like that, okay, but I don't think we need to know everything. And I think when it comes to national security and when it comes to the military, and military activities, I think we should know after it's done.
mm-hmm.
But I don't think we need to be told every step of the way because some things are not for public consumption. And we wouldn't want to know. We would live in constant fear if we knew everything that was going on. Now, should we know if you knew everything that was going on with the CIA and national security and foreign affairs and the military, we would, I'm not saying that we should live in blissful ignorance. I'm saying there's some things need to be secret.
I actually disagree with that thesis.
Okay. That's good.
That we'd be more afraid. I think that the U.S. controls a narrative that keeps us afraid. Like I turned on NBC News. I was watching my parents, and the correspondent they interview some woman from the U.S. military. Okay, so you've got a major network news program, primetime TV, interviewing a government representative uncritically, right? They're just like, well, the government said this, so we'll just share it. And she's like, oh, well, Latin America, China wants to put a base there. And, can you imagine? China's trying to put a foothold in Latin America. And then you look and it's like, oh, the U.S. has like 200 bases there. Maybe it's like 80 or 70, but it's a bunch of.
We have definitely a
we
presence.
are all over Latin America. Are you kidding me? And it's like, that's like a fear mongering thing, right? It's like, oh, careful about the Chinese. Same with Russia. Like, I know Russia's at war with Ukraine, but like, there's been a lot of like, I don't know, of scares, fear mongering around Russia. Like, are they going to do something? I don't know. Like, is like the whole Iraq war thing. Like, oh, they got like, chemical weapons of mass destruction or whatever. Like they didn't, right? That was a lie.
No, that was a lie.
That kept us afraid.
That was a straight up lie.
People were signing up for the military and going off to Iraq and Afghanistan because they were like, well, I'm going to defend my country from this thing I'm afraid of. That doesn't exist, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe if we knew what was really going on, we'd actually be less afraid. So I would just challenge that as an assumption. Maybe you're right. But I don't know, man. I think maybe I'm in a false sense of security, and we're all in danger all the time, and I gotta get my AR-15 to defend my family.
And I I disagree with that. At least from a personal perspective, I don't feel afraid all the time because I do what I do try. Like the Gulf War and the weapons of mass destruction has a whole lot more levels than we can't just gloss that, paint that with a broad brush and go. There were a lot of not good reasons, but that was a very complicated lie based on a lot of things other than a threat to the country. There was a lot of shit going on there. But I also do believe that there are threats against this country every day. But I'm not afraid because I know that the military and the intelligence community are working on that. They're doing it. You know what? So I'm not afraid. I'm secure, and I don't think it's a false sense of security because I don't trust implicitly. Like they're doing it, and I'm sure some of it is very sketchy, and some of it, if it came to light, I would not be a fan of. Like the whole what was the one where not Guantanamo Bay, but the one over in the Middle East where they were taking pictures of them torturing people, and you remember what one I'm talking about? And there was
Yep.
the woman, So like once that comes to light, that needs to be punished. But there's a lot of stuff that's not that horrific going on that does make me feel secure. Does it make me feel completely secure that everything they're doing is right? No. Do I think that there will be, some things that come to light will need to be dealt with harshly? Sure. But I also think sometimes it's better we don't know when it's happening because it's going to happen. Abu Ghraib, thank you. So yeah, I don't condone anything that happened there that came out, and those people were punished for doing that. But that was a small portion of what was being done in the name of national security. So maybe I'm a little more a hawk than dove like you are, but I also don't believe I have a blind or false sense of security. I just think that the government is too big to let everybody know its actual movements before they happen.
And too big to fail.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that because it came pretty close and it's still teetering on the edge. So I'm hoping it doesn't fail, but I don't have 100% confidence in that statement.
Well, I think you make good points. And I think that that'll be the closing word on it. Because I
know we disagree on this.
No, I think
and that's okay. It's all right. I don't mind disagreeing.
I disagree that we disagree. I think we both have nuanced points that have some there are some conflicting nuanced points, but it's by and large seated, cushioned in similar general sentiments. With again nuance. What I'm trying to say is I'm a libertarian and you are a democratic socialist.
Wow. Holy cow, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm also an anarchist. You are an anarcho-capitalist. Hi, Linda, by the way. Thanks for...
And a phlebotomist.
I am a phlebotomist. You are a lobotomist.
Right. Because I dead people's brains every time I talk.
Yeah. So...
I was asked the other night on TMJ if I could be any more left.
Could you?
And I responded to the texter. I probably could be, but I choose not to be. I think I'm pretty much right where I want to be. I forget what I was talking about. Oh, that I was upset about some of the behavior during the State of the Union, and I had been upset with it before when it was the other party doing it. And so I was told I was asked if I could be any more left, and I thought about it for a second. And I went, yeah, I really could. And then I'd be like a loon, like anybody on any extreme. So that was the answer. So, yeah.
Oh, man. You want to talk about loons? Have you heard about this Hogwarts Legacy thing?
No. What is that?
Oh, man. We got to talk about this. All right. So this huge blockbuster video game, like millions and millions of dollar video game, just came out called Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay.
And it's about exactly what you'd think. You're in the Harry Potter universe. You go to Hogwarts. You're a student. AAA title. You learn spells. You interact
How
with
old is
people.
Hermione in this game? Just so
Don't
I know.
know. I don't know if the Potters, like if the people, I don't think that it's based on the, I think it's just, you're just a student at Hogwarts, I believe.
Okay.
But I haven't played it. But, oh my God, Brian, half of Twitter has decided that if you support this game, if you buy the game, if you talk about the game, if you stream the game, if you're interested in the game, if you think the game might be an okay game, you are a transphobe and you hate trans people.
How? Oh, because of
right. It took you a second, right? It took
no,
you a
yeah,
second.
It took me a second, and I was like,
Because,
wait a minute.
And that's
I'm thinking about
that's how stupid it is.
Yeah, what's her name? Who's the author? J.K. Rowling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's come out a lot. She's made some wild statements about the trans community.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling has said some stupid things about trans people, which, like, okay, and J.K. Rowling, like, obviously owns Harry Potter or whatever. So, like, fine, okay.
Obviously.
And that means that, you know, you're implicitly supporting J.K. Rowling and you're implicitly transphobic and you're a horrible person. So, like, there's like all these 1-star reviews.
Now, wait
like,
a minute.
Like,
you brought it up. So how you actually started this conversation? How bad are you?
Must be a huge transphobe, right? No, there's reviews that are like 1 out of 10 stars. Trans lives matter, and like that's the whole review. So people are review bombing it, and then you've got.
We don't know. You said you don't know if she has anything to do with this game at all.
No, she signed a piece of paper and she made some money, and from what some people are reporting, she will not make extra money from the sales of the game.
Okay.
It was like she signed off, they got the license, and then they just made it.
Yeah.
I've also read, and I don't know if this is true, that she makes money off of every ticket that Universal sells for Potter World or whatever. So
that would make sense.
So she is making money off that. So, you know, who knows? I don't know. No one knows. People on the internet are just jerks and they just like to complain about things. And gamers are particularly toxic. So, I don't know. I've got a bunch of friends who've played it and they're like, this is a really fun game. I love this game. They're doing the Sorting Hat. They're like having a ball.
And then did they go out and beat up trans people?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, every time they text me that, I just text transphobe in all caps, you know.
Yeah.
But it is the dumbest, laziest. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I get the theoretical logic, but like, people are allowed to have fun. People are allowed to play a video game that's a fun video game based on a like series of books they read when they were little.
A beloved series of books. Let's throw that in.
Right. Like,
even I read them all.
Dude, my sister and my mom, they read all the books. Like, my sister read them like twice. My sister probably doesn't even know about J.K. Rowling's whatever. If she picks up the game, does she feel like it's I don't know. I think I get it that J.K. Rowling is in a position of power and authority and like people listen to her and she could validate bad opinions with her thoughts. But Twitter is not that big and like the coverage isn't that widespread. She's not like front page of New York Times. No. Like, look at this transphobe. Like, she
gets less coverage than the Ohio chemical spill.
Dude, right. Like it's not like you have to go looking for it, but it's not exactly like the most well-known publicized thing in the world. Like, I don't know. It's stupid.
When she says something stupid, it's in the news cycle for a day or half a day, and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there's a lot of horrible people that have created wonderful art. And at some point, and it's tough sometimes to separate the art from the artist. You know, J.K. Rowling wrote these books and she wrote them a while ago. Now she's out spouting off stupid crap. And all right, does that negate the books? Because if you read the books, it's about inclusion. It's not, there's nothing homophobic, transphobic, fatphobic, you know, there's
arguably anti-Semitic tropes.
Are there?
With some of the bankers, I guess.
Oh, with the trolls?
I think so.
Is that what they
I
are? Or are they goblins? What are they? What are the bankers?
I wouldn't have
Like
known
Gringotts.
when I was little, but I've read since that like some people consider some of the stuff to be that.
Here's where I have to be careful, because some people will consider something negative about everything. Some are justified. Some are created scenarios in their head to try to gather up other people with similar fury, and they may not have the factual basis that they claim that they have. I'm trying to be careful here.
Critical thinking skills also.
Well, sure.
I won't be careful. I've had a beer.
I know you. Yeah, and you've been parenting, so you got nothing to lose now. You've been talking to babies.
10 pounds have been
she's still
hanging on
sleeping.
to. Oh,
it's hilarious because if people had heard her screaming right before we started, they'd have gone, "This she's caught in a bear trap."
She's like a light switch. She's like a light switch.
Yeah.
Like, boop, boop, boop.
Well, even yesterday when I was holding her, she would start to sob for like 2 minutes, and then she'd just look at me and she'd smile, and she had never cried before. It was like, "What happened?" "Oh, well, she's done." "Okay." And she'd cry a little more later. She'd stop again. But I don't always. Some people are looking for trouble. Mm-hmm. Some people are always looking for trouble. They see anti fill in the blank behind every bush, behind every book cover, behind every film. Now I haven't watched it, but there's a new film on Netflix with Eddie Murphy and Jonah Hill, You People it's called. And I've, a few Jewish people that I know have posted about how many anti-Semitic jokes are in this movie. So I'm like, you know what? I didn't really care if I saw it. Now, if this is true, I'm not, okay, I won't watch it. But I don't want I don't want nobody to watch it. I don't want Netflix to get rid of it. I just don't have to watch it.
Right.
And if you don't want to support J.K. Rowling, cool. Don't throw out your Harry Potter books. Donate them. Take them to Goodwill.
But the other thing is, it's one thing if you're like Bill Cosby, right? Like Bill Cosby did his thing and he's awful. And it's like pretty easy to just like be like, all right, I'm done with Bill Cosby, right? Because he's the act. He's the guy you pay the tickets for. He's the guy whose name is in The Cosby Show, right? But Harry Potter launched the careers of all the movie people, right? Mm-hmm. Emma Watson is a feminist ambassador to the UN, right? Doing activist work to like help bring equal rights around the world with a enormously prominent message and presence, right? Daniel Radcliffe, extremely respected actor, like played Weird Al in that movie, like phenomenal, like has entertained millions and millions of people and all that stuff. And then everyone in the casting crew and production involved with all the movies, right? 7 movies. That's potentially tens of thousands of people, right? How many people work on that movie?
And she got her money from that when they bought the rights to the movies.
Right,
so she was not really hands-on in the movies.
But what I'm saying is like, and then think about all the people that designed and built Potter World and work there and staff it. And then like all of the franchise and licensing, like there are easily tens of thousands of people who have made a living, who have put their heart and soul into this franchise and this series. It is not the J.K. Rowling show. Okay.
Right.
She wrote some books. She licensed them out and she walked away. Okay. She's done. She sent a couple of tweets. Maybe Dumbledore's gay. Okay, great. Fine. No one cares. Great.
Yeah, really. It's all right.
Everyone else, right? Like, do you think Harry Potter as a saga has been a net negative? Like, is it great writing? No, it's not literature. But it's a fun world that was built that people enjoy and can escape to. And it has launched careers. It has sustained people's lives and well-being and paychecks. And it's the same with these game developers, right? Like a lot of these game developers are full-time working on this game for years, right? And they don't need the sales either, So I don't want to confuse people. It's not that's not the argument that they need to be supported. I don't think that they got paid, right? They're done.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I think in cases like this with a franchise, it stops being the author's it stops belonging to the author at a
Sure.
point, and it starts to belong to the community.
Mhm.
And the hundreds of thousands of people that write fan fictions and participate in it and share in that commonality of it and wear the merchandise at gaming conventions and make friends with each other. Like, it's a point of connection. And I think the game should be allowed to do that. And the people that are just like, oh, if you look, you're a transphobe, they're dumbasses. They're stupid.
Yeah.
They're bad people.
It's lazy. It's
very
lazy. And it's the equivalent of a hack joke. It's the equivalent of just parroting back talking points if you're a pundit. It's the lowest common denominator. And that's what sells. That's what people play to. And, you know, if you say, well, you're dumb, what? You don't agree with that cause? No, that has nothing to do with it. What it has to do with is you're spouting off hot takes and buzzwords that you know will agitate people without any thought and without caring if it's true or not. You know, because obviously is one person playing that game transphobic? Yeah, probably. Because one person doing anything one person out of however many hundreds of thousands of people are playing that game. If you have 100,000 people, there's a good chance one of them in whatever is what you're looking for. There's a transphobe, there's a homophobe, there's a racist, there's a sexist, there's a misogynist. Well, yeah, there's one in this group, and there might be more in this group or some in this group, but I don't think the game's not being marketed to transphobes. Hey,
well, it kind of is now.
Is
it's
it?
Kind of,
sure. Okay.
Oh, there's people buying it, I'm sure, now just to own the libs, which is hilarious. Equal hilarious is the lib that
I
bought
get owned by somebody.
There's the lib that bought the $250 collector's edition, which comes with like a booklet and a little statue and stuff, and smashed it with a hammer to own the libs, Brian. See, he owned the libs by giving money to the game developers.
Did he specify which lib?
Well, maybe the libtards, maybe the lib flakes. It's hard to know. There's a lot of libs,
and that doesn't sound like enough money to own all of us.
He owned a lot of it. He definitely owned the Mad Libs.
Okay, well, that's an easy book. You can pick that up at Osco.
Oh wait, no, he was a lib, and he was owning the other ones. What do we call them?
I don't know. The libertines.
Sure.
So to answer your question.
So to answer your listener's question for you, Brian, and to agree with you, you could be more woke. You could be more left by protesting a Harry Potter video game because you don't like tweets that were sent by the author 15 years after she wrote them.
Now, let me ask you this. Can I do Stolen Valor and say I will never play Hogwarts Legacy? Give me street character, even though the truth is I would never play any video game. So, but this one I can jump out and go, hey, I'm not playing this one.
Bashing this pacifier in my chest.
Roger just sent us a screed.
Oh,
holy cow! What? Trying to see.
There is a blue one who can't accept, the green one for living with, a fat one trying to be a skinny one.
He's doing song lyrics
for different folks, and so on and so on. And Scooby-Doo, we get to live together. I am no better, Roger. And neither are you. We're all the same. Whatever we do, you love me, you hate me, you know me, and then you can't figure it out. The bag I'm in, I think
Roger might be drunk.
I think
who has time to with the song lyrics, Roger? Come on,
I'm loving this. I hope he typed it and didn't copy paste it. That'd be amazing.
Just out of memory, he was singing, and everybody in the house was like, "Shut up!"
Brian, we haven't talked about any of the things we were going to talk about.
No, but you know what? Listen, this is new, and I'm finding out that I'm not a transphobe because I will not. Or wait, if I don't play the game, am I? Or I'm not?
No. Okay, so you need to go to twitch.tv and look for video game streamers who are playing the game, and you need to go on and harass them. You need to tell them they're horrible people. You need
they're playing it.
Yeah, you need to try and find their like real name and home address. You need to like stalks them. You got to dox them. You got to like send them death threats and private messages. Then you won't be a transphobe. But if you're not doing that, Brian, frankly, you may as well kill every trans person in the world.
That's a lot of
personally.
work. I got all of everyone.
Either way, it's a lot of work. Either whether
I'm not. Yeah. Oh boy. Can I just be an apathetic citizen like the rest of the citizenry, or the
no.
majority of the citizenry?
Okay,
Can I
that's
just
fine.
live in my false blanket of security? Am I am I numbed? What did I take? The red pill or the blue pill? I never can remember.
Oh man, which one's the one that makes you like last longer?
Well, that's a blue pill.
There you go. Well, I'll
But I
take
also
that
don't
one.
know if that's the one that lets me see the real person I'm with, or if I'm in the matrix.
I've got a
Because
white pill.
what
I've
if
got a
it was
white. What if
transphobic?
you what?
What if I'm taking the wrong pill and I think I'm with somebody else and I'm not, and then I go play a video game and suddenly I realize I'm not who I said I am, and then I'm Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've got a white pill that'll make some things pulsate, and it'll make you be able to hear to see sounds that you're hearing.
really
Yeah, it's a psychedelic.
nice. Roger, please don't send us the lyrics to "Go Ask Alice" now from Jefferson Starship. One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you small, and the one that mother gives you don't do anything at all. Go ask Alice. I think she'll know.
Alice, I hardly knew her.
Good morning, everybody. That was horrible. Even your daughter spit up on you for that one.
What's
She
gonna be great is
produ-
my wife comes home and is looking around and like, where the hell are my kids?
Where are all the
There's like
children?
a 40% chance my son heard me after he went to bed and just like got up and he's just downstairs playing with cars and trucks. And
Yeah,
my wife's gonna walk in and just be like, why aren't you in bed?
he won't answer.
But
He'll just go, "This is a tow truck. This is Tate Mater. He pulls his race car. Well, look, this is a race car. It goes really fast." And then, all right, what's new with the owls? How did the owls get involved in the brand?
I don't know. We
Okay.
well, no, my wife has been showing him a couple of those Planet Earth clips on YouTube.
Oh, nice. Okay.
There's one with a snow fox, and the fox like jumps in the air and nose dives into the snow to like grab a rat.
Oh, cool.
It's adorable. Um, yeah, good talk. Good talk.
No, Roger, I sang them. You don't get to type them. I just sang them.
Well, you're going on a big trip tomorrow.
I am leaving. I'm going. I cannot wait. But it's been a crazy couple weeks, and I'm happy that things are as busy as they are, but I'm a little dog tired. But yeah, so tomorrow after school, which is going to be because it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. Did you know that, Cody?
Mm-mm.
You doing anything for the bride for Valentine's Day?
We're gonna make chocolate mousse.
Ooh, that sounds lovely.
She has a recipe.
Okay.
So does my personal trainer, but there's two recipes, so we're gonna make one or two.
Yeah,
With
but I wouldn't trust chocolate mousse from a personal trainer. I think they'd leave out all the good stuff.
he
This
said,
one's just made with kale and carob.
here's the recipe: it's fat-free whipped cream, fat-free milk, skim milk, and like chocolate Jello. You just mix them
Okay.
all together, and it's just chocolate mousse, and it's like 30 calories.
This stuff that I made for Christmas, it was a mint dip. It ended up like chocolate mousse.
You
It
told
was
me about this.
it was Cool Whip and a box of pudding and like some. It was unbelievable. One, it was unbelievably easy, and two, we were eating it just with spoons. It was like chocolate mousse.
Mm.
That'll be fun for tomorrow. So you guys don't do. You're not doing gifts. You don't do the whole gift thing.
We're broke. What are you
That's
doing?
true. Nothing. Oh, what's going on
What
here?
it?
I don't know what happened. I hit the wrong button. Stop it. Why is it my mouse is not working? Everything is going hog wild.
Hogwarts. I'm sorry, Hogwarts.
That's right.
Transphobe. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Listen,
We're never gonna.
I'm so non-transphobic. I have a trans mistress.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get on a transmitter and tell people about that.
Did you see the commercial for the new Transformers movie?
No,
That's
God.
actually coming out. That is a real thing.
I missed Q. I missed the first quarter. Oh, that's awful.
Yes, the one that's really awful is the Fast and Furious one. It well, Vin Diesel I think now is 69 years old, and Jason Momoa is in this one as the bad guy. It is
Jason Mimosa.
Jason Bottomless Mimosa, because he never wears pants. He's always just in a sarong. And is that sarong? I don't think so. But yes. Oh, what about Cocaine Bear, Mike? I've already seen Cocaine Bear, and all I saw was the trailer. Just from the title, I knew what this movie was about. But now the trailer lets me know that, they're flying drugs. They drop them off at a certain place, and a bear eats their drugs. There's the movie. Okay. Cocaine Bear.
They're making a movie about Cocaine Bear?
Yeah.
Why? The
Why
bear
not?
does cocaine and dies. That's the whole story.
Well, Cody, spoiler alert. Thank you so much. Now you've ruined it.
I actually don't know if he dies. I just assumed.
I don't know. He looked like he died because he was a bear who had eaten a kilo or a couple kilos of cocaine. But yeah, so I know that. So
My daughter is stuck to my shirt. She's been pushed up against me for so long. I know she can. I keep checking to make sure she's breathing.
Yeah,
that was fair. But her face is
God.
just against my shirt, just like
don't scare us. You're gonna have to peel her up. Then she'll just come out. She's like a sucker fish.
She's fine.
All right. Are you sure?
Well, yeah.
Do you need to adjust her in any way?
She seems comfortable.
She's not making any sound. She's very tired now. Part of me wants you to try to lay her down and see what happens.
She's so cute.
She's adorable.
I could lay her down over there and see what happens, but it would end poorly. My wife is gonna walk in and be like, "Where is my daughter?" And
somebody stole my baby. The dingoes took my baby.
Hello, the dingo.
Hello. Hey. Nope. It's me, a dingo. You got a baby in there.
Oi, oh my governor. I got a dingo. I'm gonna get it.
Why do you sound like a Cockney man?
I'm gonna throw it on a grill.
A dingo.
Up across the pond. Up across the pond. I need an edible so badly right now.
Yeah, my wife is putting the kibosh on us taking edibles to Mardi Gras.
Just take them. I mean, bring them. Bring them and you got the option.
We're not flying, we're driving. So I could bring them. I could smuggle them. I don't have to put them in my ass, do I? I can just drive over state lines.
You do, but for fun.
Well, yeah. No, that's transphobic. Now I say everything's transphobic. The fact that
Twitter.
The fact that my car is front wheel drive instead of rear wheel, that's transphobic. Every automobile company is transphobic.
We're gonna get canceled so hard. Like Google's gonna have some AI script crawl transcript.
Right, and they're not gonna listen to anything in context. They're just gonna go, these guys.
Because it's 2023, and that's the way we do. We don't put anything in context. Open AI is gonna catalog our show and be like, no, we ain't talking about that.
No, I don't have to. I'm not going to do them in every state, and I'm not planning on doing anything that will get my car searched. I'm not running guns or drugs or hookers. It's just me and the wife and a couple folding chairs heading down. So yeah, tomorrow I got to go to school. It's Valentine's Day, like I said. So we got a Valentine's, soiree for the kids, but you can't bring anything. You can't bring candy or treats. So, and I made the mistake of saying to my co-teacher that I would swing by the dollar store and get some Valentine pencils and stuff to give the kids. Well, I forgot. I should have done it yesterday when I was out by your house, but I completely forgot. So thankfully, Debbie was nice enough today. I had asked her if she would go at her lunch because she was working from home. She said she went to 3 Party Cities, 2 Walgreens, a Jewel, and 2 or 3 dollar stores, and was able to find nothing.
What?
Nothing. All the Valentine stuff was gone. So I walk in the house this afternoon. First thing she says to me is, next year, if you're doing this, you got to do it earlier. I'm like, oh, what? First of all, what are you talking about? And then I remembered. And so she's like, I'm going to go out after I punch out and try to do a little thing. And I'm like, no, you don't have to. Thank you, but that's okay. No, you have to have something for the kids. I'm like, do I? I share my knowledge with them and my time and my breadth of experience. And today I read them a book about Mardi Gras, the runaway beignet, and I showed them a picture of me on the float, and they were so excited. And I'm bringing them beads. So Um, she goes out, and I said, "Listen, I was only planning on spending like $10 at the dollar store. You can get a lot of stuff at the dollar store for $10. Right?
10 things specifically.
Well, no, you can get a package of like 12 pencils for $1.
Mhm.
So $2 would have got me some nice Valentine's pencils. $4 if I wanted to be nice, give every kid 2 Valentine's pencils. Then I was thinking some erasers and like little things. Debbie comes home and I see she got a couple bags, and I'm like, "What's going on?" She goes, "Well, I got this and this. I found them. I went to another party city, and there was one cart way in the back that they had already pulled off the shelves, and I was able to cobble together stuff for all 24 kids." And I'm like, "Okay, what'd you spend?" She goes, "I spent $40. I'm like,
Oh, God.
"What?" I said, "I was thinking like $10. She goes, "Well, we couldn't, and you have to have something for the kids." I'm like, "Again, it's not my kid. I I have something for my kid." But so now, and she was nice enough to fill the bags and put both teachers' names on it. And so I will take it tomorrow. And,
That's very generous. My wife just popped her head in the door. She's home. I don't know why I didn't hand her this baby. So now I just have to stand here with an extra 10 pounds.
I don't know why she didn't offer to take that baby.
Well, she
Frankly.
said she mouthed something, and I was just kind of like, "Oh, we're good. I'm great. I love just standing here, ruining my back." I literally last Wednesday I did full day at the gym, full body day, legs and arms, and then I'm
Did
in the
your
shower
trainer
like
post it on his Instagram stories?
you probably did.
All right.
And then I'm in the shower like an hour later. I'm like, oh, I'm just like scrubbing, and I like lift my arm up, and I just pull a muscle on my back.
Oh,
Goes from like my left shoulder like down, but beneath my shoulder blade. I couldn't like for 2 nights straight. To turn around in my bed to roll around was excruciating because it went up my whole back. So anyway, I'm still almost recovered. I texted my trainer today and I go, "Hey, sorry I haven't like told you when I'm coming in this week. I pulled my back. I think I'll be good by Wednesday. Let's plan on Wednesday." And now here I am, like that guy just standing here with a backpack with a baby for an hour and a half, 10 pounds,
man.
like a moron. It feels fine. But
Does it?
I digress. But that's very generous of her to do and for you, for the kids, for the Valentine's Day. Yeah, no, I don't, I have nothing planned because I am a terrible husband.
Well, we got to the point where we don't do much for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Debbie hates cards. So if I buy her a card, she gets very angry.
What if you made her one? What if you made her one with like a crayon?
I could do that tomorrow at school because we're going to be making things. We have hearts. What if I made her a homemade card?
Yes, do that. You have to do that. No,
And
no, no. Assign every student to make a Valentine's Day card for your wife. Come home with like 30 Valentine's Day cards. It'll be adorable.
Oh, and she'd only be able to read about 3 of them.
Perfect.
No, and we're also leaving for a monstrous party.
Talk about that.
So yeah. So all right. Tomorrow I'll come home from school. I haven't packed. I have a lot of stuff piled up, but I'm going right from school. To like today was school, then radio, then this. So not a lot of time, but I'm ready. And tomorrow, so I'll come home and I'll pack and I'll get some stuff done. And then I'm going to try to get some sleep because we're planning on leaving between midnight and 1:00. Yeah. Yeah. Because we want to get down there Wednesday by lunchtime. This, we could sleep and get there later, but one, there's a parade tomorrow night right out in front of our hotel. So we have to check in early enough before they close the streets. 2, it's Oyster Day at Parkway Poor Boys. Wednesday is Oyster Po' Boy Day. They only have oysters once a week. So I gotta get there. We'll have lunch. And then it's just going to be wild. It's going to be nonstop. I've got my cigars ready. I've got a new kilt ready. I've got my signature jester hat that I've worn for 8 years running. No, Roger, no SIU this trip. We don't go, we don't go that way, do we? Yeah, we do. We pass it, but no, we were just down there. I won't, maybe if I need gas, I'll stop in Marion, but I won't be stopping off at SIU. Unfortunately this time. And then, so then Thursday morning, we got to get up early because we have to go buy, like we bought all our stuff from the crew, all our throws, our signature throws, but you have to have more. You have to have extra. So we'll go to Mardi Gras outlet, and it's just this giant warehouse of stuff to throw from the float.
God.
So usually we'll get like a big bag of balls, and because people like balls, they like stuffed animals, they like crazy stuff. Yeah, a big squeezy ball that I can whip at somebody.
Yep.
Yeah, I get the ones with the nipples on them, and then I
Someone
have
make a
them.
GIF of this so I get canceled.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Wait, it's literally called Float World or what did you
Mardi
call
Gras,
it?
Mardi Gras outlet.
Mardi Gras outlet's a thing.
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
Oh,
I only
God.
know about this one because this was the one my brother used to go to, and they have good prices and a good selection. And it's jam packed. So we get there early because we got to buy that stuff. And it's one of those things where we don't have a written down budget, but we have a mental budget. And it's like, okay, what do we need to get? And you got to get some bigger beads and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, you get that, and then we got to go load the float. So that's Thursday morning, is buying and then loading the float. Then it's parades Thursday night, if it's not raining. If it is raining, it's still probably parades. Friday morning, we got to be up early because I got to have my cooler on the float before 11 a.m. because you can't bring the float on the bus. So I got to have my cooler loaded, put that up there. So it's very the space on a float is very, very limited, like almost uncomfortably, where I can't, like, I'm bigger than I was last time I was on the float, so I'm wider. So I don't know, if it's going to make it. But when you go, like the crew, we paid to have our stuff loaded onto the float that we bought from the crew. So we'll get there. That'll be up there. Then we load our stuff on. And imagine that with every person on this float, and we're on the top. So every person on there has all this stuff. Then everybody's got a cooler. Then as the parade starts on Friday, after we have our pre-parade party for 3 hours with open bar and open food, then you try to get up this very narrow staircase on the float to the second floor.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Perilous.
And then it is perilous. Well, that's why we have a harness to snap ourselves onto the float so we don't fly off. Because the other night during one of the parades, a giant oak tree or maple tree branch knocked the head off a float and then knocked a guy right off the float, and he wasn't wearing his harness and he went flying. So, and the last time we rode, I got hit in the head with a branch. So I have to be strapped in.
Fair.
So
You're tall,
yeah,
like me.
tall. And now supposedly the city has gone through and trimmed back a lot of the trees. We'll see. I don't believe it. You know how the government lies to us, Cody.
I do.
There's
probably chemicals on those floats you don't know about.
Oh, there's probably a lot of chemicals.
Call the
because you know
police.
where all the beads come from?
China.
China.
That's why there was a shortage of Valentine's Day stuff, because they were busy making balloons instead of pencils.
That's right. They're sending the balloons over.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be, Friday's crazy. And once Friday's over, then it's settle on to St. Charles Avenue and watch parades all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Eat some gas station chicken. I always like, they got guys selling like tiny Domino's, like 7-inch Domino's pizzas. I get some of those while I'm sitting out there. I'm drinking a lot of either Bacchus Blonde from Port Orleans or Mardi Gras Bach from Beta or Muse's Ale from Nola Brewing. So I got a lot of plans for my alcohol consumption.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
And I did buy Debbie a Valentine's gift, much to her chagrin, because she did not have a flask. And I have one that hooks onto my kilt belt. She did not have one. So she was like, how will I ever have my Fireball? Because that's what Debbie likes to keep in her flask, the Fireball. So I got her a flask that has a little funnel so she can fill up her flask with her Fireball. She'll have that on the float too.
Amazing.
Because you never know when you need just a swig.
Oh, a Fireball for sure. Always.
take a big fireball swig, and while you're on the float, you're busy because you got to keep unbagging and hanging stuff so that you can get to it. And then we have all our masks that we made, so we've got all that to throw. It's exhausting.
So what playlist do you play in your car of music on the way down to Mardi Gras? Nothing themed, just radio, or?
Oh no, well, I do have a number of Mardi Gras playlists. So
Oh,
I will be playing those as we get closer to New Orleans. The first half of the ride, Debbie will be asleep. So I'll probably listen to talk, either podcasts or some talk radio, just to kind of keep me awake.
yeah, some Art Bell reruns.
Oh, I'm sure I'm going to see a lot of right wing screaming talk that'll keep me awake just out of anger. I'll probably have a stroke somewhere around.
Art Bell wasn't right wing, was he?
No, well, he was a lunatic.
Right.
I've told you about going to his house, right?
No.
I've never told you I went to Art Bell's house.
Wait, hold on. First
Not,
off,
not
we
inside.
we were on the air when Art Bell died.
Yes.
So I
sure
remember
told
that
this
because
story.
I didn't know who he was. I had never heard of him. I'm not like a student of radio like you are. So you had
Okay.
to explain to me and the listeners who Art Bell was and his significance. But I don't
Yes.
believe on that. I don't think on that show you shared that you went to his house. Maybe you did.
Well, I went
but
to outside his house.
Okay, now because now that I know who he is, maybe it'll mean more to me. But yeah,
He was a little nuts. So he lived in he was, if you don't know who Art Bell was, you've never listened to the radio. For years and years, the aliens didn't get. No, I was Mike. Hang on, I'll tell the story. I do need a hurricane IV. We have all this hurricane stuff in the house. I said to Debbie, why haven't we made any hurricanes? So probably because we're going to drink a lot down there. Anyway, so Art Bell was for years was a syndicated overnight radio host, and he developed an audience that talked a lot about alien abductions and things like that. And he would get callers that had been abducted and probed and all kinds of things. And he lived in Pahrump, Nevada, which is about an hour away from Las Vegas. And it's where the little drummer boy came from. Pahrump, pum, pum, pum. See what I did?
I did.
All right.
Twice.
So I had a friend who listened to Art Bell every night, loved Art Bell. Just as an entertainment program. So he hears I'm going to Pahrump, and he goes, you gotta look up Art Bell. I'm like, all right. So I'm doing this casino, and then I use that term very loosely in Pahrump. Pahrump, also known as the county where prostitution is legal. So there are a number of bordellos there. The Chicken Ranch, the famous Chicken Ranch, is in Pahrump, Nevada. So I'm on stage and I say, man, anybody here know where Art Bell lives? Everybody's hand goes up. So they tell me where Art Bell lives, and it's down the road, literally kitty corner from the Chicken Ranch. So the next morning, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go see Art Bell's house, and I'm going to call my buddy as I'm on. So I'm driving, and I'm talking to my friend. I go, all right, hang on. Oh, I'm turning onto his side, and it's dirt. It's a 2-lane road, and then turn onto a dirt road to get to Art Bell's house. And it's a little cul-de-sac. His house is surrounded by giant chain link fence. It's a one-level ranch-style house with a ton of antennas on top of it, and then a giant RV with a ton of antennas sitting in a carport next to it. All, like I said, surrounded by giant chain link fence. And I pull up, and I'm talking to my friend, and honest to God, I pulled right up to the driveway, and the cell signal went dead. Everything dropped. And I'm like, oh my God, he's got cell blockers, or the aliens are here. And it was just this little green stucco ranch house in the middle of a dirt field. And so I pull away and I get back to the 2-lane road, and now the cell signal is fine. Because I'm away from the Art Bell bunker and the radioactive fence that's keeping the aliens at bay. So yeah, there was my run-in with Art Bell. Art Bell's house and his cell phone blockers.
Please tell me Mike just dropped a link to, the Art Bell complex. Mike just dropped a link to a photo album on Flickr of Art Bell's complex. That's really funny.
All right, hold on. I gotta
So he had
see this.
neighbors. It looks like he had neighbors.
He did have neighbors. Like I said, it was a little cul-de-sac-y kind of deal.
There is a giant radio tower on top. Looks like a pretty modest home. Yeah, like you said, a ranch.
It was very much. Listen, all right. Let me see this.
I mean, he's in
I'm gonna
radio.
look.
He's not going to have a mansion.
That's the place. Oh, I said it was green. It's blue. All right, call me a liar. But there's there's all these. There's all of the. There's the RV in the carport, just like I said.
It's funny that everyone at the club knew where he lived.
Well, he's a big celebrity, but look at those antennas. His antennas all over the place. Probably because he's broadcasting from some underground steel encased bunker.
That's funny.
Or that outhouse that there's a picture of. Yeah, so he did that. So that might be a picture from my car. But yeah, all right. So it's pretty much exactly like I described.
Well,
thank you, Mike.
I asked about the New Orleans playlist because I want to know if you have on it Scorpions "Rock You Like a Hurricane."
That is on a Spotify playlist, 70s road trip songs that I listen to.
Okay.
So that is on there. Steve Goodman's City of New Orleans, of course. That's from Marta. Yeah, we got to hear that. But so yeah, the ride down is uneventful, except that the closer I get, the faster I drive because I really want to get there. And so we'll get there. We won't even go to the hotel. We'll stop and eat because the place for the poor boys, that's Debbie's like, we got to go to Parkway right away. Okay, cool. We'll go there. And then, then there's the parade Wednesday night is Nick's, which is an all-female crew, and they make purses. That's their signature throw. So Debbie's hoping to catch a purse. And I'm planning on, well, if I make it past 7:00 Wednesday night, it'll be a miracle. Because I'll have been driving all day and I'll be, wiped. So I'm gonna watch the parade from a safe distance in my chair and catch whatever comes my way. I don't see myself pushing to the front. But then Thursday we'll be right on the curb. We'll be right there trying to get as much swaggeroo as possible.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I'm pumped for you. Yeah. I know this is your favorite week of the year. I'm very excited for you to come back all jacked up. Well, we're not here next week.
No, because I will be on the road. So it'll be 2 weeks. Yes, yeah. 2 weeks. Yeah, it's like when you go down to Wackadoodle Festival. Yeah. Gen Con. Yeah. So, and mine is a Wackadoodle Festival too. So it's
true.
Just on a bigger scale.
True.
Just a lot of loons.
True.
But I'm hoping now, last time I was down there in the kilt, I was at a bar and I was at the jukebox. And a young lady decided she was going to reach up and pick some apples. Groin apples.
I think I know what you mean by that.
Yeah. So, no, Debbie will catch her own, Tammy. Like, if I happen to wander to the front and get one, of course.
Her own purse. Her own purse.
Yeah, purse. Catch a purse for Debbie.
Catch a purse for Debbie is what she said.
From Nick's. Your surgery. Hold on. When's your surgery, Roger? What are you having surgery for? What's going on? Tell us before we leave.
Roger is having surgery. I was looking forward to seeing you both Roger? Recently, and you both were under the weather, which was a darn shame. But I hope you're. I of course, my wife is immediately like, well, "What's he getting surgery for?" And I'm immediately like, "I don't know," because I don't know.
It's like when your parents ask what's going on with me because they follow me on social media.
Oh no, she asked what was wrong with you too, and I was like, I don't know. I skimmed the text. He said he was sick and he can't come, but I literally didn't really read it. You could have said you found out you had like, I don't know, some horrible disease, and I would have just seen like sick, can't come, and like I pick out the keywords. Awful.
All right.
Awful.
I'll be home before the 23rd, Roger. I'll be home on the 20th.
Oh God.
So I will be home on the 20th.
Surgery, disc replacement. Yikes.
Wow.
Good luck, dude.
What did you do? All right. We'll have to have him on. We'll have to have him on after his surgery. Taylor Swift, his dog, will nurse him back to health. Yeah. I hope so. Unless maybe the dog broke his neck.
Well, I've got a quick thing before we go.
Yeah, Roger was sick but got better. Hold on, you're having neck spine surgery, disc replacement. That doesn't sound better. It sounds worse.
No. He was sick with something else, and he had to get better bore the surgery. So now he's better.
Okay.
before the cert. Yeah, it's hard to
right.
keep up with.
This is
Uh,
very, very convoluted.
Look, I've
Well,
got a
good
quick.
luck. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you before you off like in private, IRL. We'll talk to you IRL before your surgery.
We'll do that. Well, yeah, best wishes. I hope it
Yeah, no
goes
doubt.
smoothly because we won't talk to you before then. But
Not on this. No.
yeah. So next week, in lieu of us doing a show, I may do it. Actually, probably this week I'll do a shameless self-promotion post if that's okay on
Please
the show
do.
page.
Yeah, of course.
On the Facebook page. So check out facebook.com/Brian Noonan Show. So I'm actually participating in a fundraiser again.
Nice.
For charity. So every year for the last, this is my 4th year, I guess. We've done the Shiditarod. Remember this?
I remember this. Yeah.
Shiditarod is a fundraiser benefiting the Greater Chicago Food Depository, trying to fight hunger in Chicagoland, fight food insecurity, feed families in need. And every team gets together a bunch of canned, non-perishable food items. I think it's like a 50-pound minimum or something like that. And a bunch of money. In the last few years, my team has raised a good amount of money, and I'm raising money again. So I have a fundraising page that I meant to text you a link to earlier to post on today's show, Brian, but I forgot to. So check out the Brian Noonan Show Facebook page.
Yeah, put it on the page. Is this the one that you made that crazy movie for last year, or thing that was so funny?
Yeah. So traditionally, the event is essentially a bar crawl, but you have a shopping cart. And you dress up the shopping cart and you dress up your team with a themed costume. And some people go crazy. They have like a theater major background and they make like giant like foam core castles on top of these shopping carts. And there's all these rules for competing. And other people just put some duct tape and a couple signs on their cart and that's it. Fine. But one year for the pandemic edition, they made a film festival and we actually won. Yeah, we won several awards at the film festival, including Best in Show. So that was really fun. But this year it's back in person. I'll be collecting canned goods. I'll be getting money. I'll be getting monetary donations. I will post on the Realities May Vary Facebook page and the Brian Noonan Show Facebook page. If you want to donate, that would be very wonderful. This show is free. So if you find value in our podcast, please donate to this because it goes to people in need. But actually also this past Thursday in Wrigleyville, there's a bar called Nice Lounge. It's the diviest of dive bars. And they let teams come in and guest bartend. And they keep all the tips go towards the event.
Really?
So this past Thursday, I bartended in Wrigleyville.
How was that?
I was a bartender.
How did I not hear this yesterday at your house?
I don't know. So I did this a few years ago when they were still, before the pandemic. This is the first time since the pandemic. I really enjoyed it, actually.
Had you ever bartended professionally before?
I never did. I thought to myself, I really did enjoy it. And I was like, damn, dude, like if I was younger and single and could project my voice more, I would enjoy this. Now, a couple caveats. It was a Thursday, so it wasn't as busy. I knew a lot of people in the bar and it wasn't that loud. So that's very different than being at a packed bar on a Friday or Saturday night, with wasted people and people getting out of hand and not, forgetting their tabs and all that. I know that I got the training wheels edition, but like a casual bartending thing, maybe when I was younger, it could have worked out, but it didn't. So, but I bartended and we raised more than $1,000 in tips on Thursday night for the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Yeah, I know, which is very cool. So
congrats on that.
I'm really excited. Mike, I believe, from our podcast, a listening audience, has already donated from seeing me on Twitter because I tweeted about it. So thank you so much for that. A very generous donation. I really appreciate that. That was very, very cool. I remember you donating last time as well. So thank you so much. Even like $5-10 is great, but whatever you can. Keep an eye on the Facebook page. We'll post a link to it. I have a fundraising page on Give Classy. Actually, right after this podcast, I'll post a link. I'll try to remember to post a link in the comments. But it's good. So I'm participating again this year. It is in a few weeks. So our next show coming up in 2 weeks will be the last show before Iditarod. So
Okay.
I'll
And
give
you will definitely have everything set up before then.
Yeah, I'll give it a plug then. I won't. I'll announce our theme for this year then.
Ooh, all right.
Last year we were the cast of King of the Hill. I was Boomhauer.
I do remember that.
Yep. The year before was the cart thing where I played myself essentially. And the year before that we were Teen Girl Squad, which was like a sketch from a online flash video website from like the late 90s.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Very obscure.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, so anyway, raise the money for Iditarod. I will share information as much as possible, and I'm excited about it. So thanks.
That's excellent.
In advance for any support you can give. Yeah, and I promise the money goes to Greater Chicago Food Depository, not me, because I'm just doing just fine, even though I'm technically unemployed, but I will be employed soon. So.
Well, very cool. All right, we'll be looking forward to that, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks. I'll post something on the page. I'm sure I'll get a video or two from me. I'll try to post something from. Well, I'll definitely post something from sitting on the parade route, because what am I doing other than smoking a cigar and drinking and watching parades? So I'll do that, and I'll try to get a quick one from the float as we are getting ready to roll this Friday night. Crew of Morpheus rolls at 7:00, unless there's I just found out if there's a rain out the night before. The big parade from Thursday is rolling in front of the 3 parades on Friday, so we may be pushed back. Who knows? All that means is, give me a yay or nay on this real quick, Cody. Adult diapers, because I have to be on the float for a long time, no bathroom, after consuming a few beers. Not many, because I have to stand up and throw stuff.
Just lay a base, man. Eat a ton of food. You'll be good.
Yeah. All right. So you're going nay on the adult diapers.
Man, I'm going nay. Literally, I did this entire 90-minute podcast with my baby completely sound asleep on my chest. So
it was amazing. As soon as you got her strapped in, she was out.
Like light switch.
All right. Well, go tell your wife to take your baby, because that'll go over well. Tell her, hey, do your motherly job and take this baby off me.
Well, I'm
tired of babysitting.
In this state that she's in, I don't think it'll be much to ask. I'm going to lay her down and see.
I was going to say, is there a quick release on that thing now? How do you get her off? Because I saw you struggling to tighten it on, so I don't know.
The shoulder strap. Well, I have to adjust it because she wears it. My wife wears it, and I'm a lot bigger than her. But the thing is, there's a strap I can show you in the back. Do you see this?
No. Right. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah, that one. Right.
So, yeah. There's a buckle across the back between the shoulder straps, and it's really hard to reach. But I am insanely tall and have long arms, and I'm barely able to buckle it by myself. Usually, we got to buckle each other when we're home, but I got it.
All right. Well, go put the baby down. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. This will be posted tomorrow if I don't stay up and post it tonight, but it will be up before I leave town. So tell everybody to listen, and laissez les bons temps rouler. Let the good times roll. I will see you on the other side, hopefully, because we are now entering Deep Gras. Deep Gras starts tomorrow, where everything is about Mardi Gras. So there you go.
Yeah. And as we always say, voulez-vous coucher à la baille?
Avec quoi so baille?
S'asseoir